In today's episode, we're recapping all of the major announcements from IBM Think 2019, at least the ones that certainly caught my eye, and I think will have an impact on what you're doing with artificial intelligence and machine learning within the realm of marketing. So let's go through the big announcements first, and then their implications. Number one was Watson Anywhere, virtualization of the Watson APIs so that you can use them with any machine learning or any data set, regardless of the environment it's in, including other people's clouds. I think this is an announcement that is useful if you are doing work and you need access to some of Watson-specific APIs, especially some of the ones like visual recognition, the natural language understanding, and so on and so forth. So useful stuff there. It does open the door, I believe, to using Watson Studio as well to be able to wrangle other people's AIs, and that that is a very, very helpful thing because the Studio environment is one in which it's a relatively low-code environment, and so there's some opportunities there. The second, of course, was Watson OpenScale, which we talked about a couple episodes back, and what it means for being able to tune models and fix them, identify when they're going off the rails, and especially with regard to bias. The third was Project Debater, which was their artificial intelligence that debated a human and didn't do as well as I think people expected it to, but still did some pretty amazing stuff. And fourth was OpenAI. AutoAI. AutoAI allows you to load a data set, and Watson will do its best to create and choose algorithms and fix things. And of all of these technologies, I think there are some immediate takeaways. Number one, OpenScale for reducing bias is going to be really important, especially for being able to identify bias when you didn't plan for it up front in the data set. Now, that's a big deal because a lot of folks in machine learning and AI today are deploying models without necessarily taking into account all the different ways that your data sets can be biased. So having OpenAI be able to raise its hand and say, hey, something's wrong here, is a very powerful option. I think it will help to reduce unfairness in artificial intelligence. And I like that about the way IBM is approaching AI, this concept of trusted AI, that we will never reap the full benefits of artificial intelligence if we don't trust the machines to make fair, unbiased decisions. This is something that played into a discussion I had with the lead engineer for Project Debater. When I had a chance to talk with her, she was saying there's, underneath the hood, there's a 300 million document corpus and 10 different AIs, all essentially doing different things and blending their results together, which explains why it was able to listen, synthesize speech to text, or do a document corpus search, and then create natural language back within 4 minutes. It's got a lot of hardware and software running under the hood, but one of those 10 AIs is responsible for ethics and rule enforcement. That is, saying there are certain rules that it has to follow, certain things that it may not do. And I have some hesitation about that, not because I don't trust the rules that they put in place, because IBM did a laudable job of making sure those rules and those thresholds were set high. But again, when companies and private enterprises and individuals who have those capabilities are working with these technologies, they may not necessarily put the same level of diligence into their ethics modules that an IBM would, or the very worst case would be where someone takes the technology and gives it a very different set of ethics rules. Can you imagine, for example, a heavy manufacturing company using the technology to synthesize great natural-sounding debate, but saying we're going to completely discount any articles in the corpus that are about the environmental impact of this type of manufacturing technology, so we can create true natural language that sounds great, that sounds logical and well-reasoned, but is intentionally biased. And I think there is an opportunity to have the discussion now, and may have enforcement later, where companies like IBM that sell artificial intelligence technology, particularly if it's an off-the-shelf solution like that, in addition to having to do things like export controls and other forms of compliance, they may have to do an ethics review of a company, and may, I would hope, have situations where they say, nope, you can't buy this. Your ethics track record or your stated policies do not align with what we want our technology being used for, because it can very much be used as an information weapon. So some thoughts, there's more to unpack there, but for the most part, it was a really cool technology test. It was a really good example of what AI is capable of, and it highlights the fact that who is ultimately responsible for the output of AI is a human being, or a set of human beings. And we have to, as consumers and as business owners, constantly be asking, how can this be used inappropriately or illegally, or to disadvantage a certain group of people? So let's go back to Otto Ai. Otto Ai is, again, you take a data set, like you export all your Google Analytics data, and you pour it into the Otto Ai system, and it will start to process it, do feature engineering, and do a lot of the upfront stuff that data scientists would have to do today, and then start to help you understand how to model the data set and how to create machine learning algorithms that will help you make better use of the data. So you pour in all your Google Analytics, you say, conversions is what I care about, and it will go through and process and come up with a model, actually it'll come up with several models, of things that it thinks are optimized for conversion. So it says like, time on page is really important, so you should focus on that. This is a very powerful tool. I think it will be a great time saver for data scientists and for machine learning specialists. I'm not convinced that it will still help people who are not good at technology or math. I think it's still too advanced for someone who's like, I don't want to touch anything. I just want to hit export and have magic happen. That's none of these tools that are on the market or are coming to market are going to be magic. They are still deeply rooted in, you have to do some upfront work. But that said, for people who have a technical aptitude, even if you don't have any formal training, but you have a technical aptitude and you're able to squeeze the most out of things like Google Analytics or Google Data Studio without formal training, something like Otto Ai could be the thing that tips them over into being able to do machine learning credibly and well. One of the important things that I think is going to be so critical to Otto Ai's success is its bias detection. It has the same bias detection tools as OpenScale, and also as the AI 360 product. AI Fairness 360, sorry, in that it can detect biases in your data as it builds the model and either compensate them for them automatically or spit back and ask you, hey, this looks like a protected class. Do you want to, in fact, protect the outcomes? That will be greatly helpful, I think, to, again, the cause of machine learning and artificial intelligence, because if someone who doesn't have a strong background in data science and machine learning is building a model, but the system knows enough to look for biases, the model they roll out should be more fair than if they were to try and do it themselves with some of the other automatic model selector tools out there that may not know to look at something like age or gender or ethnicity and say, nope, those are protected classes. We cannot use them for modeling, and we even want to have specific outcomes mapped to that. So if it's gender, generally speaking, should be a 50-50 split, whether it's in sample size or in outcome. The privileged class and the non-privileged class should have the same general outcome. So Otto Ai has a lot of potential. I'm looking forward to trying it out in the beta, and we'll have more to share when I can actually get my hands on it and play around with it. But overall, there's some really, really good stuff coming out of IBM from Think 2019 when it comes to the application of machine learning to the world. And I think they're probably one of the few companies that's giving serious thought and implementation to the ethics and the mitigation of bias within artificial intelligence. If there was one core thing that came out of the week and all the different products, it is that they're thinking about how to keep the technology from being misused and putting it into the product, which is a major step forward. So a good show, a lot of fun. Look forward to putting the technology to use and sharing more as we have it. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.